Sherri Leopold, CEO of Option Creators Inc., is a mentor, speaker, and leader of the Stop Self-Bullying movement and founder of the Wow Warrior Woman of Worth platform. She is the publisher of Wow Warrior Digital Magazine and host of 3 interview shows. The Wow Warrior Show airs on everydaywoman.tv.com. She hosts Wow, Look Who's Here, which airs across social media channels. Outside the Box with Sherri Leopold airs on YouTube. She is also a state director and master mentor of Givers University. Her 30-plus years of experience in speaking, mentoring, and team building enables you to transform your life mentally, physically, and financially through being rooted in self-love and self-acceptance. Self-love and self-acceptance. What amazing words. Welcome, Sherri. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, LaDonna. Wow, Kamal, you're a tough act to follow, but wow, what a beautiful way to start the day. So thank you so much for that. Today, I'm actually going to talk about self-bullying, and it aligns right with what Kamal has already got our juices flowing with. But we're going to talk about it and the impact of what it has on your business. We're going to talk about minding your mind, so to speak. So I'm just going to have you guys raise your hand, just whatever, just your actual hand. If you've ever heard of Whitney Houston, Robin Williams, Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain, just to name a few. What do you suppose these people have in common? Well, you might have thought of one thing, but was it that they all had their dream jobs? Was it they had probably earned more income in the time they were here that they would ever spend in their lifetime? That they had amazing family and friends and loads of people who loved them? That probably wasn't what came to your mind. And actually, what came to your mind probably was that they all took themselves out and committed suicide. So we can all agree they were successful, that they had those things that I just mentioned, right? So, but what we might never know is that, and I'm going to say it might be the same reason that we often have hard time leveling up in our businesses. And it's really comes down to how we speak to ourselves, right? I call it self-bullying. And I call myself the leader of the Stop Self-Bullying movement because I want to. There's that. But it's literally my mission to really help you love on yourself a little bit more, because what I know to be true is the more you love yourself, the more people will love you. And when they love you, they'll do business with you. We just heard that with Kamal and how much she said, I love you to him, like, right when she was speaking. Is anyone in this room want to build their business bigger? Does anybody want to make more money? Yes. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-bullying and what it is. So self, I'm just going to give you a quick description. So self basically means oneself or one's character, right? And bullying is very widely understood, but it actually means a blustery or quarrelsome person who habitually badgers or intimidates a weaker person. That's the actual definition. So self-bullying would correctly mean that you are the weaker person. You are the one who is habitually badgering and intimidating yourself because you are the weaker person. You're like, who does that? You do. I do. We all do. We all have that within us. So, and I want to do a little bit of an exercise so I can kind of help you grasp how important this concept is. For a lot of people, this is what self-bullying sounds like. I'm still working on losing my baby fat. My baby's 30 though. I'm so stupid. I can't figure out this funnel, this email sequence. I keep going over it. I can't get it. I suck. I'm just not good at sales, right? I can't, I know how to do it, but it just doesn't work for me. There must be something wrong with me. So you're kind of getting the idea. So, in that thought process, I want you to think about something that you've said to yourself in the last 30 days or so. I just want you to pick one. Some people are really professionals at this. So, I just want you to pick one. It's probably one that crops up a lot. Why am I not more successful? Why am I not making more money? There's something wrong with me. Whatever that is, I want you to take that thought that tends to rise up for you. And I literally want you to pull it out of your head right now. Just pull it out. And I just want you to set it on your shoulder for a second. Okay. We're going to come back to it. So I want to talk a little bit about how important your friends and family are, not to you just as a person, but as a business leader, because we need people who support us in our passions and our business, right? I like to refer to these people as people who are on your farm, and it's an acronym for Friends and Relatives Matter. These people are very special. They're those you run to when you're excited because you landed a big account, you got a new client, a promotion, had a new sale. There are people who will lift you up also when you've lost a customer or an account, or someone passed, or a relationship ends. They're, those people that are really, really close to you, right? That you're going to go to first. And in the acronym, friends can be all kinds of friends, right? Acquaintances, friends, college friends, and even family has so many different avenues in it: biological, aunts, uncles, foster parents, step parents, and of course the lady down the street who was like more like your mom or grandma and she isn't even related to you. I want you to think of somebody in your farm, that person who is very dear to you and very close to you. And for me, I typically think of my daughter when I do this exercise. But I want you to pull somebody out of that group in your mind, and I'm going to have you do a little exercise. So I need you first to close your eyes with me, please. And I want you to think about, you're sitting in a chair just like you are right now, if you're sitting, and they're directly in front of you, knee to knee, sitting on a chair. That one person, that person who just boils up love when you think of them. And I want you in your mind's eye to see their face. And I want you to look at them. And I want you to grab what you put on your shoulder. And I want you to say their name and say that to them. Say it again. Now, you can open your eyes. And the example, the reason for doing this is because I need you to understand how that feels. Is anyone feeling like that was amazing? Like I use my daughter and I might say, Elizabeth, you are so stupid. Why can you not get this? Like I wouldn't say that to her. Why? Why wouldn't you say that to those people that you were just in communication with and sitting face to face? Because it's hurtful or hateful or mean or demeaning, right? Like, absolutely. You're like, or it's just simply, it's not true, right? There's that. It's not true. So we wouldn't do that to someone else. But I got to ask you, do you remember where you got that from? I know you took it from your shoulder, but where did you get it from? You got it up here, right? Right here. And I asked you in the beginning, what did you think all those people I named had in common? Well, you just identified what it was. They could not control their inner voice. I refer to inner voice as ivy. And ivy is in plant form is a plant that literally grows out of control. And it's very hard to kill once it's established. It runs rampant and will go crazy when it's unchecked. But it also stands for IV. And like you think of IV as intravenously, literally being put into the vein. And when you have an IV put in, it's generally for a life saving procedure or for medications, right? So, in that vein of IV being inner voice, I believe that we all have an IV bag. Like literally, we have an IV pole right here. There's a bag and it's connected to us. It's not actually connected to our arm, though. It's connected to our ear. It's what we hear and what we see about what other people say and, to you and treat you, how they treat you. That bag is very, very clear and helpful when we begin, right? And most of us don't even know it's there. But when those words go into your ear that someone says and you feel it's a criticism or they're not being kind or whatever, that goes in your ear and circulates in your head, which is sort of where the bag is sitting, right? Up here. And so it circulates. And this happens like in business when people say, "Oh, why are you doing that, Kamal? Oh my gosh, you had this great job. Why would you ever start that? That's never going to work." Right? We're going to do that kind of stuff. People do that to you. They think they're being helpful, right? But what they're really doing is injecting something into that IV bag, like against your will, is really what they're doing. And this is why, as business leaders, we need to protect this IV with everything we have. This pole needs to be like literally right up against us with your hand on it, right? Because you're in charge of protecting that IV. And I want you to protect that IV as much as you can. You want to protect it with everything you have, because everything you allow in will be everything you become. I'm going to repeat it. Protect it with everything you have, because everything you allow in will be everything you become. Guess what? You get to say simply, "No, thank you. I don't receive that." And in this case, you can say, if someone is offering you that sage advice, you can say, "Hey, no, thanks. I have no interest in talking to whoever failed in that or whatever." Or what you can come back with is say, "You know what? Honestly, I appreciate your concern, but actually I am surrounding myself with people who are crushing it and what I want to do, they're already crushing it. That's who I'm really going to tie myself to so that I can duplicate that. I appreciate the information and you sharing, but I'm surrounding myself with people who are winning in the field that I want to win in." Sometimes we have to limit the time we spent with people, because sometimes the people who are trying to dirty up our IV bag are our family or our friends. And sometimes we have to distance ourselves from them. And that's a hard choice. But this is a case of you picking your hard. And I'm going to remind you to protect that IV with everything you have, because whatever you allow in is whatever you will become, right? And whatever you become affects and infects your client and your customer base. And I'm sure most of you have heard of stinking thinking, but this is what it is exactly. And if you want to show up powerfully, to go up powerfully, you have got to really take some stock in this and get a handle on this. Because ultimately what manifests is a fear, and it's like a fear of success. So what if you have great success? Oh my gosh, what if I can't maintain it? What if somebody finds out I'm not that smart? Like, these are the things that are subconscious, like, start playing out for us, right? And these are the exact thoughts that are the signal that it's time to check that IV bag to make sure that it is not contaminating it. You can contaminate it as well. So I want you to tell inner voice. And by the way, I really just have to stop for just a second and make sure you truly understand inner voice is your voice. You have to own it to change it. That voice doesn't come from your brother, your mother, your sister, your cousin, your friend saying mean things to you. They can say it once, but when you tell it to yourself 1,000 times, friends, it's on you. And that's what self-bullying is. Somebody can do it once. They say it, walk away. Now it's you doing it to yourself, and you've got to own it. So you can combat those obviously with all sorts of things, but I am statements, things like that. Those things, when you train your brain to focus on powerful I am statements, you will you will keep that fluid clean in that IV bag and you won't allow those things in there. Choose ones that affirm what you already are and the blessings are already yours. You must see them and know them to achieve them and to receive them. But I want to talk really quick. I want to pop back to what that saying was that we took from our head from that was on our shoulder, right? We took it from our shoulder, but it was in our head. Have you ever thought about where that comes from? You know, why do we say these things about ourselves? Where do the negative things come from? Well, I would propose that many times they come from people who love us, which is unusual when you're really trying to think about it, because we think about bullies and they might say something mean, but we don't think about the fact that, you know, our grandpa who called us Miss, you know, Chubby Butt when we were 2 and 3 and 5 was cute, and they never stopped calling you Chubby Butt. And now when you're 12 and 13 as a young lady, it's like nails on a chalkboard and you feel like terrible. My grandpa thinks I'm fat. Well, he thinks it's a term of endearment, right? So here's where this comes into play, is it's all about your perception in what that means. They think they're teasing, but you think it hurts. So once again, this kind of comes around to, I wrote the book Self-Bullying, What to Do When the Bully Is You. And on the cover, there is a baseball bat. And actually, I just show it to you because I have it here. This has words on it that say unworthy, unlovable, you know, ugly, shame, and things like that. That bat, I say we all have a bat at our feet. And a lot of times we don't know it. We don't actually find out it exists till about preschool age. And that's when the first sort of meanie comes around to us, and or bully, whatever, and they realize that bat's there and they pick it up and they whack you with it. Your nose is funny. You can't play with us. You're too skinny, or your hair's weird. Whatever it is they're saying at 3. I worked in preschool for 12 years. I saw it every day. It's hurtful, right? But here's the thing. That word gets put on that bat and that bat's at your feet. But where that self-bullying comes in is when you pick it up and you go tell the teacher and you tell your mom and you tell your friend and you tell everybody else. Now you're beating yourself with the bat that they wrote on. They've left. They don't care. They don't think about you anymore. But you're now in charge of doing it to yourself. And so we have to really, really mind our mind in this space where if somebody says something to you, you can simply not pick the bat up. You don't have to repeat it. You don't ever have to tell anybody if somebody says something terrible to you. And the thing is, they don't take your bat with them, because guess what? They've got a bat of their own. And they actually feel pretty powerful when they do that to you. It's the few times they feel, you know, that their own self-bullying feels smaller and less significant, right? So I want to just kind of let you know that in this particular part where we're talking about the bat, this is really where fear comes into place. You know, the fear, or the acronym for fear, forget everything and run, right? This is what causes you to cut and run. And it gets hard, right? And the IV gives you the reminder of the words on your bat, like failure, coward, stupid, I can't make it, I'm not doing well enough, right? And this bat that has all these words on it generates this great fear, right? And fear is not your friend in business. Honestly, it's just not. And I want to share a quick story that I call the skunk story. If you've ever been driving down a road where there aren't a lot of lights and you smell, I just did this last night on the way to where I am. I was like, it smells so bad, you know, and you know it's a skunk, right? You know the smell of a skunk. So you roll the window down, letting the air out of the car so you don't carry it with you once it's come in, right? And that skunk smell just permeates everything that's in there. So what do you want to do? You want to avoid it, right? And this is what happens when you share about your business and you have very deep-seated fears, whether it's about failure, your confidence in your product, in yourself, in your delivery, in the model, in your upline, in your whatever corporate upline, whatever. When you have those deep-seated fears, what comes out is the skunk smell. And this is when you are sharing and you are literally trying to quote unquote close sales and things like that. You have that deep-seated fear. That's the skunk. And what happens is people roll the window down and let you out, right? Like that's it smells bad, it feels bad, but the thing is they can't actually put their finger on what they don't like about it oftentimes. So they just know they want to push back from it and get away from it, right? So the form of this kind of running from the skunk or letting the skunk out, which is you, comes in the forms of unanswered emails, unanswered text, messages, being ghosted. Somebody was talking to you, and all of a sudden they're not talking to you, right? They're probably trying to escape something they can't put their finger on exactly. But that fear is a business killer. And in this case, it's coming right out of that IV I was talking about, right? So we've got to lose the skunk smell. We need to be able to train ourselves, our teams, our employees to call each other out when they hear or see something that smells like a skunk, because that's what true support is. That's what networking communities like the one LaDonna is building is. Like I can say, hey, LaDonna, that was so skunky. And she will always know exactly what I mean at this point. That's what true support is. And in business, we've got to have that. And if you want to move to the next level, it's time for you to power yourself up correctly. So I want you to think about, if you're sitting in a chair or standing, whichever, I want you to think about that bat that's at your feet. It's right there. And it has every insecurity, fear, and negative thought anyone has ever given to you or said to you. And I want you to put one foot on that bat, on top of it. Put one foot on it, very strong, push down. Now, how many of you think it's going to be harder to pick that bat up, to beat yourself with it with one foot pushing hard on it? It's going to be harder, right? How about put the other foot down? Now you're fully standing with all your weight on that bat. You cannot pick that bat up. If you lean down yourself to try to do it to yourself, you can't pick it up. And I want you to remember that you have the power to always step on that bat and not pick that bat up to beat yourself up. My logo for the Stop Self-Bullying movement actually has a stop sign with a hand in it with a heart on it. And this is one of the other things that I want to make sure you understand. It's not just about standing on the bat. We're standing on the bat. We're no longer picking it up, but we're also using the hand. It's a universal sign for stop. Every country, if you do this, you hear the talk to the hand. That's why that logo is like that, because when someone tries to give you something in your IV bag that you're holding close to, you say, no, thank you. I don't receive that, because I love myself. That's why the heart is in the hand.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sherri. Can you go ahead and give us your offer for the day, please?
I sure will. Sorry, I wasn't watching my time. Okay, so I just want to say that we can learn and improve our skill sets as a person. We're perfectly okay, gray hair, whatever. But you are an unrepeatable miracle in your business. And this, my friends, is what you bring to the business. It's you. I help people shine as the unrepeatable miracle that they are through my Wow Warrior magazine, the Wow Warrior Awards, and the Wow Warrior Show. I want to honor you with a 25% savings on anything in the Wow Warrior magazine to promote your business. I love to help you go farther, faster. And I do want to offer you a free copy, a PDF copy of the Self-Bullying, What to Do When the Bully Is You. You are the key to your business, because you are a one-of-a-kind, unrepeatable miracle. Exactly as you are, no qualifiers.
Woo-hoo. I love that, Sherri. I absolutely love that.
Thank
Let's
you.
give her some good vibes for everyone.
And I wish you all a blessed, skunk-free 2024.
Yes, absolutely. Who has any questions for Sherri? This is your question and answer time. What question do you have? All right. Well, I am going to call on Kamal because he did put some great information in the chat. And then I would like to hear from Dr. Pat as well. Kamal.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. Yeah, Sherry, what a wonderful presentation, wonderful job. Just a question for everybody that's here and they're listening to you that's want to work with you. Like, how long is your program when you work with somebody to help them do this change, to do this growth? Maybe
Right
somebody's
now I'm actually doing just personal mentoring. I do run workshops and classes on it as well. I have a lot of moving pieces, so this is only part of what I do. So it's a portion. I actually really am now focusing on people that I've helped and supported in this process shine out in these areas where they can be visible.
a great job. You're putting a dent in the universe. So awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sherri. And Dr. Pat.
Okay, okay. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Beautiful
great.
in red.
Awesome. 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 Sherri, I just wanted to when you said the part about I just wanted to confirm when you said the part about how we have called different names in our youth and then we grow up and things change. And it brought back to me my daughter. I used to call everybody called her because she was so plump, everybody called her Buffy. And that was fine until she got in the eighth grade. She says, Mom, please don't call me Buffy anymore because they think that's a dog.
Yeah.
So it was associated with the dog, but we associated it because she was plump. So I had to stop calling her that by that nickname. So I was kind of smiling when you said that.
Yeah, and I have a similar situation where I did a speaking engagement and I could see somebody in the audience was crying. And she said that very thing, Pat, that she had a name that she called her daughter and she was like feeling really bad. She's like, "Oh, I never thought that might not be something." She said, "So I'm going to go ask her if it's okay."
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's
Awesome.
beautiful.